Sneeching on the beach, ooh, 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 sneeching on the beach, ooh, ooh, ooh. Welcome back to Channel KRT, the podcast where I make a bunch of SpongeBob puns.
Fuck yeah.
And also where we take a look at the best and worst of obscure media.
That too.
I am the kit in the hit, Quinn.
I'm Randy, and I'm the lost Sanderson sister.
I'm Tyler, Green Eggs and Ham.
And joining us in the Fourth Timers Club, please welcome Jen Seggio.
Oh, great. That's great, cute.
The go on, yeah.
No, of course.
Unfortunately, we don't do guest choice here, so you get this complimentary can koozie.
Aw,
Yay!
you shouldn't have. Thanks,
Well,
guys.
this technically was a guest choice because, Jen, you did suggest this one to us a long time ago, and it actually was on our list, like, way before you suggested this to us.
So we do guest choice. Give me the koozie back.
All right.
Huh.
Our guest choice is, you like this movie? Yeah, it's yours now.
So we're talking about the 1994 made-for-TV special In Search of Dr. Seuss, which is sort of a hybrid documentary, but also kind of a comedy set in the world of Dr. Seuss. We've already gone over our relationship with Dr. Seuss in the past, but Jen, what is your relationship with Dr. Seuss?
Well, I grew up with plenty of the classic Dr. Seuss books. I remember renting a lot of VHS tapes from my library, which are basically just the story read to you, some still images from the books with some limited animation.
Oh, the Random House VHS ones.
Yes,
I had
Oh
one
my
of those.
god.
I
Those
remember
were
that.
crazy. It's like
I fucking
all
love
they
those.
did was just like kind of do some zoom-ins and some voices on a book that already exists, and somehow it worked.
Yeah,
The theme
Yeah.
song to that gets stuck in my head every once in a while, and I do not complain when that happens.
Which one? The Random House logo? Because that's been stuck in my head for like 20 years at this point.
Oh, that too. The Random House logo and the Dr. Seuss read-along logo.
Mm,
oh yeah.
Oh, I haven't heard that in ages. I'm gonna have to pull that up and re-stick it in there.
Oh, it's so good.
me too. Yeah.
Because I
And-
swear I remember Dr. Seuss read-alongs.
Dr. Seuss Beginner Book Video.
And also, as someone who's writing kids' books, I could say he's been an influence on me. He's basically influenced everyone who set out to write a rhyming kids' book. He's like the gold standard.
Hell yeah.
That really good mix of like both the proper writing structure and fun nonsense with that instantly recognizable art style. I love it.
Agreed. You know, for a lot of his less appealing aspects as a person, which we'll get into later, I gotta say that we really are never gonna have an author like him again. Like, we're not just gonna have somebody who has such a unique style and such a unique style of writing, but also someone who wasn't so afraid to get political and able to teach kids about heavy topics.
I feel like Dr. Seuss is like the mascot for Never Meet Your Heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, his existence was a net positive on society as a whole.
Exactly.
He still kind of did some shitty things, though.
He was the John Lennon of children's literature, shall we say.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, he was.
I wouldn't go quite
Mhm.
that far, but yeah.
Yeah, even though I will be praising him and his stories a lot throughout this episode, there are some things I won't be afraid to call him out on either.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Now we need an Onion article that's guy gets a kick out of telling people Dr. Seuss cheated on his dying wife.
Yeah.
It's me.
Mm.
I'm Guy.
He was basically the Walt Disney of his day, for better or worse.
Mm.
Anyway, so in terms of this special, what's everybody's relationship with it, starting with Jen?
Well, it was introduced to me by someone I dated ages ago who I'd rather forget, to be honest. He was a major asshole, but this special was wonderful. I would have loved the hell out of it if I had seen it as a kid.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, I had heard of this special, but I hadn't really gotten around to watching it. And I think the time I rediscovered it a little while back, the thumbnail of the radio scared me. So,
I've actually never seen this until we started talking about it, which seems to go for a lot of our subjects.
Hey, Randy, want to talk about this? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure, why not? I got nothing better to do.
we keep Randy in the cellar.
Just drag it out when it wants to talk about weird stuff.
Yay. Anyway, but yeah, I really missed out because this special is wonderful. It's really fun.
I agree. I definitely missed out too.
Yeah.
Listeners, I'm sure you guys remember. Well, I brought up in the past, my childhood fear of the Cat in the Hat. So I
Yeah.
never watched this special proper. I believe the first time I properly watched it was streaming it with Marissa and all our friends. But, I knew of the special and watched bits and pieces of it here and there, and it fucking slaps. I'm with Jen. If I was not afraid of that feline motherfucker, I would have watched this incessantly as a kid.
Hell yeah.
The
Yeah.
only thing that redeemed the Cat in the Hat to me as a kid was that at least he, cleaned up the shit he pulled. When that first got read to me, I was like, this guy's an asshole. He just shows up, messes up the place, and then leaves. And then he comes back with the fucking, cleaner upper 3000 or whatever the fuck it's called, the shit.
Much love to actor we'll get into, but I think my favorite Cat in the Hat will always be Alan Sherman.
Oh,
Yeah, that's fair.
Hot take, I kind of love the Mike Myers Cat in the Hat.
Oh, I do too.
Oh, we all do. We have revitalized that movie into something good, so.
It's just that it's so insane. Like, how the fuck did this get approved by the Seuss estate? How the fuck did this happen? How did this end up being the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen?
Well, they learned their lesson from it. After that, Audrey said, no more live action movies if they're going to be like this. So
I'm
I
kind of,
like it.
I say this as someone who does kind of like that movie. I'm amazed she said it for that and not when The Grinch, which literally has a scene where the mayor is forced to kiss Max's butthole. But
In all fairness, that is exactly what Jeffrey Tambor deserves.
in
yeah,
hindsight, yeah.
The only thing I'm mad at the Grinch for is that fucking "Where Are You, Christmas?" I'm sick of that song.
yeah, me too. Taylor Momsen has so many better songs on top of that.
Oh my god, wait.
Fucking range with that child. She went from The Grinch to Underdog 2007 to fronting a fucking emo band.
Hell
Fucking
yeah.
queen.
Well, that's the first I've ever heard of this. Whoa.
Oh, you've never heard of The Pretty Reckless?
No, I haven't.
Oh, they're so good.
Yeah, they're great.
Wow.
Oh, it's amazing. And speaking of the cast, we have a stacked cast for this special. Like, we have Kathy Najimy, a year after Hocus Pocus and a few years before King of the Hill.
And the same year as the extraterrestrial alien encounter, so
That's
fuck
right.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, technically that was soft openings, but it properly opened in 1995. But fuck, it still counts.
Greatest thing Disney ever put in their parks, and they were too much of a pussy to keep it there.
The revolving door should have transported them into the room with the alien.
Oh, boo-hoo, some children got scared. Come on, it's a rite of passage to have the shit scared out of you at Disney World.
Yeah, no
Please.
kidding. But, I think the most underrated aspect of Alien Encounter, in my opinion, is just the chemistry between Kathy Najimy and Kevin Pollak as Spinlock and Femus.
Hell yeah.
They're just
I
such a
think-
great fucking duo. Just look up the video of the raw footage from the monitors of Alien Encounter. Just ignore the
Yes.
piece of shit that was also in that film, but,
Yeah.
Ooh, well, whatever it is, it sure wants out.
So,
Out it goes! Uh-oh, made it.
Well, you see, there you have it.
Well, he gets teleported to a planet full of evil cockroach aliens, so
Yay.
no big
He
loss.
died.
You know what the best thing about Alien Encounter also is? That it's
What?
not Stitch's Great Escape.
amen.
Yeah, great.
And also Tim
And-
Curry / Phil Hartman robot, depending on which version of the pre-show you're watching.
Fuck
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
I know we were talking about Cat in the Hat 2003 revisionism. Stitch's Great Escape does not deserve that.
No.
It is
Look-
bad, and you should feel bad for liking it.
Cat in
Well,
the
not
Hat.
really, but
Ashamed to say that I did like it, at least the first couple times I wrote
out.
it, because
Get
That's
out.
it, you're
Not
kicked
kidding.
off the
I'm
podcast.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
What?
Get out!
But later on, it's like, I wasn't that big a fan. As I got older and started watching Alien Counter, I was like, oh man, this is awesome. I wish we still had this, because I was too scared to go on when it was still there at the parks. But I was like 5 or 6, so it was not made for me at the time.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would have been one of those pussy crying kids if my parents dragged me on it.
Oh, same.
I was in Disney World both times, once in 2000, once in 2001, when Alien Encounter was there still, and I was just such a pussy ass kid. I couldn't even. And now I'm just like, you motherfucker! You could have like experienced one of the greatest things Disney ever put out, but no, you don't like loud noises.
I gotta be honest. As much as I love Alien Encounter and inhale anything and everything about the lore with that ride, I would not ride it, even at my current age.
Completely fair.
It's basically the episode of Bob's Burgers where Bob and Gene go to that over-the-top concert and poor Gene has a little mini meltdown like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's so weird. I
Yeah.
couldn't handle fireworks or anything loud as a kid, and now, as an autistic adult, I go to like fucking metal concerts and Warped Tour and crowd surf and shit.
Also, piece of shit that we all rather forget is now dead in Beetlejuice 2, so hell yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
All right, so we also have Christopher Lloyd. There is no escape, and I love it.
Damn
Yay.
straight.
The reason Christopher Lloyd is a no escape is because the word no is just not in the man's vocabulary. You hand him just any frickin' script and he'll be like, I'll do it. This looks like a great opportunity.
And he'll
And,
also give 100%.
Yeah.
Amen. And also Andrea Martin, our second topic in a row with Jen. That involves Andrea Martin, funny enough.
That's
yeah, yeah.
right, yeah. Frosty
Ha-
Returns.
Sir Patrick Stewart, Billy Crystal.
Robin
Um,
Williams and
Robin.
Zelda Williams in her first role.
Hell
This has
yeah.
a fucking Legend of
Yes.
Zelda connection, technically, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dad,
Yes, Zelda?
are you mixing me up with the princess again?
Hard to say. You're both pretty magical.
There's actually a weird domino effect I want to mention later too, and then Howie Mandel and Eileen Brennan, and of course we gotta say who plays the Cat in the Hat, Max fucking Headroom.
That's right.
Yes.
Because once you've acquired that new wave taste, you're going to want to try it again, again, and again. A Coke's delightful. The second. Catchy, isn't it? Catch the wave. Coke. Rush.
Guys, I'm sorry. I know you guys just did a thing defending the 2003 Cat in the Hat, Mike Myers. Matt Frewer is the best live-action Cat in the Hat.
He's pretty
Yeah,
damn good.
valid.
I'll give him that.
He's great.
I like him,
This-
but I also hate him. I'll get into why, but also the like overrides the hate, in my opinion.
There
So-
we go.
It's unanimous. He's fucking great as the Cat in the Hat.
Can't wait for Chicago to deal with the Cat in the Hat hacking into their TV.
Oh,
You know, the
God.
Max Headroom incident is unsettling enough for anybody who's ever seen it, but I feel like, you know, the Cat in the Hat incident would have given Kid Me a fucking heart attack.
So here's what you do. You get the Mike Myers Cat in the Hat mask and you put sunglasses on it. Give it that weird VHS effect with that seizure-inducing background with the fucked up voice. Boom. Nobody's getting out of the nightmares.
And this was directed by Vincent Patterson, who's actually done choreography for quite a few films, such as The Birdcage, Closer, Evita, and of course, because why the fuck should there ever be escape, lots of Michael Jackson videos.
Oh,
Of
come on.
course. Why not just put Michael Jackson in this?
The choreographer for the Smooth Criminal video gave us this. I love
Oh,
it.
so not just any, Michael Jackson video director, but one of the greatest Michael Jackson video directors of all fucking time.
Yes.
Damn right.
Hell yeah.
One more thing, by the way. Do you guys ever think about the fact that the Max Headroom incident guy was just never found?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
How? To be fair, Captain Midnight did turn himself in, which, why would you do that? What you did was, kind of justified.
That was the coolest thing ever. Don't arrest him.
Yeah, the guy who did that got off scot-free, and he's probably living his life realizing he just got away with the best fucking practical joke ever.
Yeah, Captain Midnight should not have turned himself in because HBO for $12.95 a month in the 80s, that's fucking ridiculous.
No, it is.
Mhm.
I don't know why he turned himself in. He should have never turned himself in. He was 100% right. That is insane pricing. We need this guy more than ever in the streaming era.
Well, probably because the internet didn't exist then, and he couldn't just go on and say, "Hey, I did it, and I'll do it again."
Exactly.
He should do it again. I'm sick of these streaming prices.
Please.
Help us, Captain Midnight. You're our only hope.
Hack into every streaming service out there and play Max Headroom doing some weird shit.
But not while I'm watching Smiling Friends.
I can't allow them to make an independent Quimbly game. It's my IP to sit on and do nothing with.
Also, as much as I do really like Matt Frewer's Cat in the Hat, there were a few points where I was getting a bit of Dana Carvey and the Master of Disguise vibes from him, where I was getting like vibes from his voice, and I was like, no, Wayne was the Cat in the Hat, not Garth.
But are you not Cat in the Hatty enough for the Cat in the Hat Club? Oh God, they hit the Pentagon.
Great, so now Matt Frewer is going to bite off Alec Baldwin's nose.
Yay!
I think it's because every now and then he would slip into these uncalled for impersonations. Like in the middle of doing the green eggs and ham thing, he would do a little bit of Elvis.
I've eaten and beaten, swizzled and swazzled. I've known every way that an egg can be guzzled.
Yeah, that's my problem with him. As much as I love him in this, he tries way too fucking hard with the voices. One moment he'll be talking about some insightful fact about Dr. Seuss, and then in the middle of it, he'll just go into some weird fucking voice.
Dr. Seuss felt Hitler was a real threat to the entire world and had to be stopped. These were the only angry pictures he ever drew, but he felt it necessary to take that old sledgehammer approach.
It's like, dude, you're talking about Hitler. Calm down.
I don't know if it was a weird directional choice just to make sure to keep the kids interested, or if it's just something he was told to do. You can go do the silly thing, go nuts. But it only works when Robin Williams does it.
Kids in the 90s did not have that bad of an attention span. Now, kids in the 2020s, that's a different story.
Oh, yeah. And also, I won't lie, as much as I did enjoy him, there were a few points where his voice was also kind of starting to trigger my misophonia a little bit, which, side note, I should start saying that like Jar Jar Binks.
Misophonia!
Do it.
Misa have misophonia!
Anyway, all right. So we begin our special with a catchy-ass intro.
Come along with me in search of Dr. Seuss. I know that we will find him, it'll be a cinch. We'll ask the Grinch, ask the Grinch. Soon he'll be within our reach. Ask the Snitchers on the beach.
This In Search of Dr. Seuss theme is just very jolly and jovial, and I love it.
Going back to the Cat in the Hat movie one more time, when I edited the book was better reviews for Crimson Rogue, go check them out. I used this song for the end credits of his Cat in the Hat review.
Hey!
Oh, yeah, nice.
So, yeah, really stuck with me.
The weird thing is, on the copy that I watched, it was like these still images that were like edited in like by someone else, like a PowerPoint or movie maker type thing, with like these high quality stills, and then it was back to the VHS quality with Spanish subtitles copy of the movie.
Yeah, that's the same one I watched.
Also, did they have to open it with one of the Sam I Am dancers? Why?
Oh, God.
There's an AI upscaled version of it on YouTube. I mean, if you're if you think those look better, all power to you, but it just looks weird to me.
Nope.
I just love that the thumbnail for that shows a frame of Matt Frewer's The Cat in the Hat, but he looks like he's aged 30 years.
Oh God, it looks like that really weird airbrushed photo of Hillary Clinton she was using during the 2016 campaign.
Oh God.
It looks like one of those exaggerated stills from the recent release of True Lies, where they used AI to upscale it for 4K, and it looks more like a cartoon Arnold than the version of him from Total Recall.
Cheering me on!
Actually, oh my God, speaking of True Lies, apparently I found a comment where somebody says they actually worked as a production assistant on the special, and they said that this was actually filmed in the exact same studio where they were filming True Lies.
Oh my God, yeah, I saw that too.
Comment.
That's awesome.
Oh, speaking of AI too, there's like this painting of the Cat in the Hat there, and this is in 94, like way, way, way before AI was like even a thing. If it was, correct me if I'm wrong, but whatever. There's like this painting of the Cat in the Hat, and then these like two smaller Cat in the Hats. And I don't know if you've ever like just out of curiosity AI generated an image of like a character, and then it'll have like little smaller versions of that character near it. That's what it looked like. I swear to God, that's what it looked like. The special predicted AI art.
Well, it could also be a reference to the sequel book to The Cat in the Hat. The Cat in the Hat Comes Back.
Oh, yeah.
Where we're introduced to all the other little cats in the hat that live in his hat.
Oh my God, I was just about to say the Cat in the Hat fucks, but no, the Cat in the Hat reproduces asexually like a cell. Like a cell.
I know what photo you're talking about. It's the one hanging up in the Cat in the Hat.
Yeah,
Robin
it looks
Williams
like those
section.
like weird AI generated like
It's him with a cat child and him with a human child. What the fuck's going on there?
What did they like time travel 20 years in the future, find Dolly, say, "Okay, give me Cat in the Hat," and then take that and then put that back in 1994?
I know what this is. Someone did that thing where they took a picture of their kid and then just photoshopped the characters around them like they used to do at Disney World.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. I think those are still going, actually.
Yeah.
I just assumed with that photo, it was just some weird form of crossbreeding and those were his kids.
Don't talk to me or my sons ever again.
I still stand by it. The Cat in the Hat reproduces asexually.
Huzzah. And so then we open with how journalism definitely works, just barging into somebody's house.
Yeah, apparently Dr. Seuss's mansion is still intact and has a butler.
Yeah, and I actually now don't live too far from it, so...
Really? Holy shit.
Yeah,
wow.
If it's still active in La Jolla, then yeah, I'm not going to say where I live because I don't want to get doxxed, but... but yeah, it's...
Oh, also, fun fact. All the taxidermy in his mansion, those are real art pieces that you can buy. They are like $1,000, so they're not exactly the cheapest, but...
Yes, I've seen some of those, like at Downtown Disney in one of their art gallery stores.
The collection of unorthodox taxidermy, it's an actual art collection. You can purchase them on drseussart.com/taxidermy. Most of them are sold out. The ones that aren't are like $1,000. So if you are rich, I guess, go for it. Check this out. You could have these in your house. It's pretty cool. I would love one of these.
So yeah, the framing device of this is that Kathy Najimy plays a reporter by the name of Kathy Lane who wants to get the scoop on, the history of Dr. Seuss for an article. And the butler in question that opens the door is the Cat in the Hat, but he's, I guess, disguised as a human?
I thought that was a reference to the 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T.
No, it was, because he's wearing the 5,000 Fingers hat from that movie.
Holy shit, Mike Myers, what are you doing here in Dr. Seuss's mansion?
Which, by the way, we got to talk about that someday. That movie fucking
You
rips.
do.
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
It's such a weird piece of Seuss history because it was the only movie that he oversaw in his lifetime, and he disowned it because it's like a weird mess. But as someone who's seen it, it's a fun, interesting, weird mess. So it's really cool that they got like this little nod in there for the fans.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. But I'm still very confused about how the Cat in the Hat's quote-unquote disguise is supposed to work, because when we meet him, he just wears like a regular tuxedo and a well-groomed mustache. Looks like a normal human. But then when, things get Seussian, he actually becomes more cat-like with his, mustache becoming like unfurled. He has that like actual like a cat skin suit.
It is still kind of weird that the Cat in the Hat has a Salvador Dali mustache.
I thought he was wearing a pimp coat at first.
Yeah, oh god, same. So I guess does he actually have the ability to transform into a human?
I guess.
I think of it just sort of like a disguise or like, I don't know, the way I saw it, when Kathy opens up the book, she gets transported into an alternate Seuss world. Like anytime like a writer makes something, they create like an alternate world.
So the thing is, the Cat in the Hat is actually a reverse furry, and that's his flesh suit. That's his flesh suit of his human Sona.
Oh no. Also when he said,
"Not good, not great, not nice." Shameful.
Insert joke about 2024 here.
Yeah, I love that initially the Cat in the Hat is just totally irate about Kathy Najimy being there. He goes on this rant about,
Today the media's snooping around. Tomorrow, Seuss World. Ride Horton the elephant. Eat a Grinch burger. No, ma'am.
Bro, that's just Seuss Landing.
He predicted Seuss Landing.
Not only that, but that is literally what happened when Universal just started pumping out all those goddamn movies. And the Lorax especially, that fucking product placement was everywhere. Way to miss the goddamn point.
Thanks to the moolah, that marketing whore, he could finally see what he hadn't before.
I'll get me an ace, an accountant named Herschel, a toy line, a lunchbox, an IHOP commercial.
Later on, he says, there's no turning back now. And I was like, wrong theme park.
Also, what the hell is a Grinch burger? That's not a burger made of the Grinch, is it?
It's just a regular burger that has mold on it, but, they can't throw it away, so they just serve it to customers.
Here you are, sir, one
Grinch burger.
See, the thing is, his hatred of Christmas made him a heretic, so he had to be killed and harvested for his meat.
Yeah, that too. Also, I love that when we get the bit where the Cat in the Hat stands next to the painting of himself. It was giving me the vibes of that clip from Hot Fuzz.
Yes, me too.
Yes.
So then they both fall into the book and they end up on the Sneetches beach, which I swear to God, Barbie totally stole the look of that beach.
Anyone who wants to beach him off has to beach me off first.
I will beach both of you off at the same time.
But you don't even know how to beat yourself off. How are you going to beach both of
Okay.
us off? It
I know how
doesn't
to-
make sense.
Ken?
Why are you getting emotional?
You're going to beach
Come
both
on,
of us off?
Ken. Nobody's gonna beach anyone off.
Oh, God, yeah. Before that, though, you forgot to mention that, the whole conceit is that, Kathy Lane wants to report on the thing of Dr. Seuss, and as I mentioned, the cat is, totally irate about it, so he tries to give her a tour, and he basically, what it is this is his desk, this is his room, fuck off. I just love the sass that he portrays in this.
Absolutely.
And I love how she's all, hey, can I get a source on this? And then she sees where he poses next to the painting of himself, basically. And she's like, okay, gonna do without the source then. How am I gonna report back and say I actually got news from Dr. Seuss from the fucking Ken?
Oh no, it's a furry house.
I'd imagined that as soon as she got back to her office, her boss is talking about, hey, so what did you do today? Oh, I talked with the Cat in the Hat, the Hunches and Bunches guy. I ate some green eggs and ham. Boom, institutionalized. There's this thing, where the Cat in the Hat is giving a speech about, Dr. Seuss's life. He mentions...
What most people don't realize is that he devoted his life to fighting religious, racial, and social injustice.
And, I just thought to myself, and sometimes even contributed to it.
I mean, I get what they're saying, but it's a little bit of a stretch to say that he was always fighting it, just saying.
Yeah. I just, as much as I love this special, they sugarcoat a lot of things in this, and I don't know how I feel about that.
It's a documentary, sadly. It's gonna probably sugarcoat at least a little.
And not only that, it's a documentary that's for kids too, so. And you can't have the Cat in the Hat say, and then he cheated on his terminally ill wife. And when his wife died, he married his mistress.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be like trying to make a documentary in this style about Walt Disney today. You'd have to skip over the anti-union busting.
Yeah, remember, kids, Walt Disney chain smoked like a fucking chimney, and he hated unions and anything left-wing. Huh?
Anyway, more biopics like The Founder, please, where they're honest about how awful the person was.
I'm still surprised that McDonald's lent their, trademarks to the founder. They were just yeah, the guy who made us what we are today is an irredeemable piece of shit. You're still gonna come get a fucking McDouble. We don't care.
Basically.
We can do whatever the fuck we want and you'll still eat here.
So one more thing that I have to mention about the book sequence is that, when Kathy opens it, it kind of leads into this acid sequence with all this Seussian imagery flying at her. And I was expecting it to be she's looking at the Ark of the Covenant and her face just fucking melts off.
Also, I don't know why I thought that the book was going to randomly turn into the Necronomicon and just...
Yeah, the cat just looks at her corpse and goes, well, that's another one.
Yeah.
All right, now you can mention the Sneetches.
My job is just Sneetch.
I got very big Pee-wee's Playhouse vibes from the Sneetches set, and just about the special in particular. It's got these huge, big, colorful sets everywhere that you don't see anymore.
The set design in this is fucking wonderful.
They did an amazing job translating so much from the books.
At times, it was kind of giving me We Sing vibes, but on the other hand, it's just they take full advantage of, you know, the Seussian imagery without going into a whole big budget situation.
We Sing if they didn't have to rely on royalty-free material.
No, it's We Sing if they gave a shit.
We Sing if they had an actual network budget, because this was produced, I think, by TNT.
Yeah, that's right.
This aired on TNT.
Also, in addition, they managed to really get the proportions of the Seuss style really damn well in live action, so that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So the Sneetches story, I've come to realize it's obviously a good gateway into teaching kids about oppression and learning to accept your fellow man, which is a really good metaphor. I also feel like what it could be a really strong metaphor for is how marginalized communities should never exclude more marginalized communities, like the LGB Alliance, for instance, cough, cough.
Yeah.
Damn right. Also, that it's not just that racism it's bad, it's that capitalism feeds off racism and systematic divides and helps fuels it in order to keep itself going at everyone else's expense.
Exactly. It's the fact that the monk... Sorry, I forgot his name.
Sylvester McMonkey McBean, which I remember not so much because of the cartoon, but because I've seen several YouTube poops of it.
And yeah, Dr. Seuss literally taught us about grifters who make money off of division, and yet here we fucking are.
Hell yeah.
We learned nothing.
Yeah.
Double feature of this and Trading Places ASAP.
Yeah, you know, it occurs to me that the best way you hurt rich people is by turning them into poor people.
Exactly. McBean would absolutely be an Elon Musk parody if this came out today.
Sylvester McBean was the original grifter. Let's be
Sylvester McBean was the original Daily Wire.
Instead of stamping stars, it'd be blue checks.
So we should also add that there is some archive footage used in this special of various animated Seuss specials, such as this one is from Dr. Seuss on the Loose, which is from 1973.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used a lot of like old specials from this and then just kind of dubbed them over.
Yeah, it's weird. I was going to point it out. The Sneetches cartoon, all the voices are untouched, with the exception of the narrator, because now Kathy's sort of reading the story. But the Horton cartoon we see next is completely dubbed over by Frank Welker.
That's
and
right.
Yet a lot of the other ones aren't touched either.
Yeah, I am kind of curious as to why they dubbed it over. It's like, maybe to update it a little and maybe because of the audio, but...
You know, I am glad that they at least kept the original audio from the Dr. Seuss on the Loose segments because the voice acting in that is great. I do love Paul Winchell. You know, he kind of has the quintessential Seuss voice, in my opinion.
Belly stars, my dear friends, are no longer in style, and I'll have yours off in a very short while in my wondrous machine which eradicates stars. Then you won't look like Sneetches who have them on bars.
Hell
He
yeah.
does, yeah.
Also, they gave the Cat in the Hat paw prints on the beach, but he's wearing tap shoes. Verisimilitude compromised.
Someone play a ding sound effect.
The worst Dr. Seuss documentary ever.
I think that's a really fun touch, though. I like that.
Yeah.
You know, I think my favorite character in the Sneetches is the Sneetch that we see at the end that has 2 stars grafted on each ass cheek.
They were serving.
See, now I gotta know, is there like a Sneetch version of The Great Replacement?
Oh, God. And so
the Sneetches with another symbol on their belly are conspiring to break Sneetches with no stars on their bellies over our borders.
Sneetches are Sneetches, so why should it be? You and I should get along so awfully.
And they're gonna replace all the Starbelly Sneetches. This is Starbelly genocide.
Also, I gotta ask, how painful do you think it is to have stars grafted onto your bellies and vice versa?
Very.
Maybe like tattoos, you know, like getting a tattoo done and then removed.
So, the belly is probably one of the most sensitive places to get a tattoo. You get a tattoo on your belly, that's gonna hurt like hell. Now imagine getting it tattooed, then removed, then tattooed again, then removed again, then tattooed again and removed again, and the pain is just so debilitating you forget that if you were born with it or not.
Yeah, I know. I've been to Seuss Landing at least once, and they do have like a little Sneetches ride. It's almost like a mini monorail train thing, and you pretend you're going through the machine, and you see like they looked like big stamps going down. So
Oh, yeah. I just assumed that somewhere off screen, Sylvester McBean was just taking a potato peeler and saying, "This'll hurt me more than it hurts you."
Oh, no.
Don't worry, you won't feel a thing until I shove this thing down your throat.
You're doing this to preserve the Star Belly race.
And so then we get introduced to Mr. Hunch, played by the king himself, Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, the transition to that sequence is so weird.
The house falls around and on Kathy like it's the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, this is the only stop motion we get in the scene where everything falls on top of Kathy. It doesn't hit her, thankfully, but you know.
So I guess Kathy is just never escaping the witch archetype, isn't she?
Although I will say that some of his makeup looked a little uncanny. Like,
Marty, they glued this stupid fucking nose on my face.
I have in my notes, he has Steve Martin's nose from Roxanne.
Marty, they gave me Steve Martin's nose from Roxanne, Marty. We gotta get this off. It's super glued on, Marty.
And I gotta say, Christopher Lloyd fits perfectly in the world of Dr. Seuss.
He does.
Oh, he really does.
The scene where they're going through food to eat together, I was just like, oh great, they made the slime in those bad ASMR videos actually edible.
Oh god, it's Gak, run!
I called the way he acted in this scene dress rehearsal for the librarian from the Page Master, but with ADHD.
Do you want to go out skating?
Skating?
Fly a kite or climb a tree?
No, Pa.
Do you want to eat a pizza or take a bath or watch TV? Evil demons, wretched monsters, haunted houses, graveyards.
So this is where it starts to turn into like an actual sort of a documentary, because this is where we actually learn about, you know, Seuss's life through archive footage and narration, everything. We learn here that the name Seuss came from his mother.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And apparently he's from Springfield, Massachusetts. New England wins again.
Hey!
So wait, he didn't go forward in time and steal it from Gravity Falls? Boo. In that case, that one Treehouse of Horror segment that was based around Dr. Seuss's canon.
Yes!
I'm frightened of nothing, not even hellfires. Just don't let me ever be played by Mike Myers.
Technically, there's a 1 in 67 chance that he's from the Springfield the Simpsons are from. It's actually starting to become like the general accepted theory is that it's Springfield, Massachusetts. So,
oh my god, Randy wins. I mean, I know you live in Rhode Island, not Massachusetts, but you win.
Also, Springfield is like way far out west. It takes like 3 hours to get there.
In California, and Florida, and Illinois, and
where the hell's the ride?
So it's a very Seussian thing for someone's fridge to actually, like, you know, have arms coming out of it, like serving stuff. But, you know, I genuinely believe Christopher Lloyd is eccentric enough to actually have someone just hang out in his fridge the entire time.
Absolutely.
I just realized Dr. Seuss is in Universal Studios. The Simpsons are in Universal Studios. Dr. Seuss might be from the Springfield that The Simpsons is in. It's all connected, man. It's all connected, man. Universal Studios is just New England.
Mr. Lloyd, can I come out of your fridge now? I can't feel my legs.
Universal used to have Jaws. Jaws is on, what was it, Amity Island?
Which is Martha's Vineyard. It's all connected. It's all connected. Universal is New England.
Except for Wizarding World, which is just plain transphobic England. But
yeah.
And even though it's not technically part of New England, there's Escape from New York starring Jimmy Fallon, which is in the Northeast.
No, get that.
Get him away from me.
And we have the Men in Black ride. That's in Queens. That's New York, too. Oh.
Also, do we have anything to say about the McElligot's pool segment? Because honestly, I don't.
I do, actually.
So do I.
Yeah, so they talk about, you know, his childhood in the archive footage, and then that leads into a transition with the book McElligot's Pool, which was about his childhood. And as soon as I saw the kid, Marco, the first thing I thought was, that kid looks like fucking Beesbo. When the fuck did Beesbo reproduce?
Also, no, kid, you're not gonna catch shit in that.
Also, actually, funny you mention it. He was actually the voice of Christopher Robin in a number of Winnie the Pooh projects, and he was Billy in Dumb and Dumber.
Really? Holy shit.
Yeah, so Brady Bloom, to be exact.
Good for him.
Pretty bird. Yeah, can you say pretty bird? Pretty bird. Yes, pretty bird.
I didn't dislike this segment. It was cute.
It's cute. You got these paper Seuss fish swimming around, but I gotta say, the song version of it from Seussical just slaps. I love it so much.
Hell yeah.
Boo! That's not how marine biology or fishing works. Boo! Tomato. Boo! I go fishing sometimes. I need to mansplain this. Boo!
Side, I finally watched Waiting in the Wings video on Seussical, and holy shit, what a weird ass history.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
yes.
Overambitious producers ruin everything. Yeah.
We need like a fucking drama show about the making of Seussical. And
Yes.
Well, Lady of the Wings did like 2 or 3 videos on Seussical, which is, yeah, that's like his thing, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, I think my favorite tidbit of trivia from Seussical was how David Shiner, who played the Cat in the Hat in that, was, doing improv. And he was doing this thing where he would go into the audience and he went up to a kid and the kid just started fucking crying out of nowhere.
Oh,
I feel bad. David Shiner was good as the Cat in the Hat.
Yeah, he was.
He was also in Man of the House, but we will not hold that against him.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I don't know. You know you did good in your role if a child cries as soon as they see you.
Aw.
My elementary school had a field trip to see Seussical on Broadway when Aaron Carter was in it, but unfortunately, my parents couldn't afford the tickets, so I couldn't go, and it was the biggest disappointment of my life at that time.
Oh, dang.
Damn. But no, Seussical is fucking great, despite, its tragic production history and everything.
Hell yeah.
I still think we were robbed of Eric Idle as the Cat in the Hat, because apparently he did play him in a tech rehearsal.
Oh,
I think he was supposed to originally do the music for it at first, I think, but
no, he wrote the script for it initially.
Yeah.
So then we get introduced to Horton in this special.
Yeah, Horton just straight up fucking ransacks Mr. Hunch's house.
Yeah.
He just sort of like, it's a weird transition wipe because it's the Horton from the cartoon passing by, and suddenly the scene behind Kathy goes from the house to the jungle.
This is the moment we feared, people. Many of you thought it would never happen, but I insisted we spend 2 hours every morning training for it. You all thought I was mad. Many of you requested to be transferred to another peanut factory. But now, we...
Also, I don't know what's in moose juice, and I'm too afraid to ask.
I'm scared as well about moose juice and goose juice, but I would try the schlop though. It looks like basically just a giant sundae on top of a cake. I would eat the hell out of that.
Hell yeah. I also want to try the roast beast just once.
Oh, yes.
I always assumed it was just roast beef. If you've had roast beef, you've had roast beast, I guess.
Huzzah.
So, the adaptation of Horton Hatches the Egg that we see in this is the Merry Melodies version directed by Bob Clampett, and as great as this short is, I gotta say, it is pretty strange to see Dr. Seuss characters animated in the style of Looney Tunes animation.
Yeah, and I was not prepared for the wild ass turn it randomly took halfway through where a bunch of hunters just kidnap Horton and just sell him to the circus. Like,
At
what?
least they cut out the scene of the Peter Lorre fish shooting himself.
This whole story feels like one of those like Reddit posts you would see that get turned into an AI voice on TikTok. I adopted this child from a deadbeat mother. This deadbeat mother just randomly laid her fucking child on me to babysit. Now I've adopted the kid and she's suing for custody. And it's like those 2 parts where you have to go to the second part on the TikTok account and look for it so you can find out what part 2 is.
Also, boo, Horton didn't randomly do an anime sequence. 0 stars.
So when Horton is talking to Maisie, he says, "Me on your egg? Well, that doesn't make sense. I'm sure there's an innuendo somewhere."
Phrasing.
Also, apparently, nurture over nature is a lot more powerful than we thought because it's a bird elephant.
This is so cute. baby elephant bird.
It was. It's actually kind of funny because elephant birds actually did exist. So
It's true.
Oh, it's kind of like a Moa.
The bird is so popular enough, he became a main character on the Fabulous World of Dr. Seuss. Horton's like a single
Aw.
dad raising him. He's so sweet.
I miss
Good
all the
boy.
extinct birds.
Me too. I'd even take the Haas's eagle, even though they probably ate people.
Oh, they definitely ate people. What I want back is an Archaeopteryx, because that would make an awesome animal sidekick.
I would bring back a lot of the extinct elephant species, especially the mammoth.
Oh, I'm so excited for the mammoth.
Yes.
And the thylacine.
Also, I love that, Kathy Najimy, when she's narrating it, she says that a rifle was aiming for Horton's heart. It looked like it was aiming towards his ass.
Well, they're going to shoot him in the ass straight to the heart.
Ass to the heart.
And then Jim Carrey falls out of there. Oh, wrong animal.
No, get back in there, Jim. So then the Cat in the Hat comes back. Ha ha.
We'll learn how he came up with, his name. He got busted for having alcohol while he was in college, and he lost his job on the school paper because of it, but he continued to send in cartoons under the name Seuss, which, like you said, was his mom's maiden name.
Yeah, that's right. Although I will say, though, that while it does serve a purpose in the special, I kind of tuned out a bit during the actual history sections because I was like, I just want to watch all the fun scenes where they're talking about stuff.
They also mentioned the fact that, Ted Geisel used his name backwards as sort of a pen name.
In later years, there were 13 books under the name T. Lessig.
What?
Geisel spelled backwards.
What a kook.
There is something weird that I want to point out. I feel like there's a decent chunk of material that was cut out in this scene because after the Cat in the Hat goes through all this stuff, Kathy seems like she's about to ask him a question, but then it just cuts to black, and then we get to the advertising sequence.
Yeah, maybe there was some stuff that was cut out since this looks like it was a TV recording, so...
She was about to ask the cat about Dr. Seuss's racism, so...
Well, it's on the Blu-ray and DVDs for a couple of the Dr. Seuss specials, so always check that out.
All right, so then we get introduced to the ad scene that has Andrea Martin and David Paymer as the ad woman and man, and that was a fun scene.
It really was, but at the same time, they're talking a lot about how Dr. Seuss technically got his start working on ads for Flit, which was an insecticide, and I'm just thinking to myself with how fucking hyperactive and coked up these guys are. They must have been inhaling Flit on the regular. Those fumes must have been fucking getting to them.
Andrea Martin enters the scene spraying a can of Flit everywhere. So, yeah, she really is breathing in something crazy.
If you're wondering what Flit is, if you have ever seen like an old cartoon from the 30s or 40s about a garden and they're like pumping that shit everywhere, that's Flit.
I love that Andrea Martin has basically at this point made a career being an extension of Edith Prickley from SCTV, and this is no exception.
Absolutely. And the way she was talking was definitely giving very, very pre-Mrs. Fowler vibes.
Oh, God,
But now
yes.
I'm actually kind of curious. What damage did Flit have on the environment and on health?
Too much. Too much. Also, how to evict a cow out of your apartment sounds like a creepypasta title.
That was a plot of one of the first Bob's Burgers episodes. I keep bringing it back to Bob's Burgers. I'm sorry.
One, apparently Flit could be used as fuel for the Lockheed U-2. Second, there's a very racist Flit ad that Dr. Seuss did.
Oh, God, yeah. I was just about to point that out.
Yeah.
Oh, these are some great Flit advertisements. Thankfully, I'm sure the other ones that we don't see are culturally sensitive.
Speaking of culturally insensitive Dr. Seuss advertisements, y'all know what my favorite beer is, right?
Cerveza Crystal?
Cerveza Cristal. Cerveza Cristal.
Never had it, but it looks great. Narragansett. Guess who did very, very racist ads for Narragansett, starring a character called Chief Gansett.
Oh no.
Which is based on the actual Narragansett tribe of Rhode Island.
Oh, God.
My favorite beer is problematic And the problematicism is tied to my favorite problematic childhood author. I really can't have shit in this house.
Also, when they were talking about the Seuss Navy, I was just like, that sounds like the BTS Army. That'd be like if Dr. Seuss was a K-pop idol.
Don't Seuss, don't tell.
Also, a lubricant for boats. Phrasing.
For boats, you freaks.
They also talk about here, that Dr. Seuss met his first wife in the advertising industry. I'm tugging my collar, guys. I'm tugging it as far as it can go.
That's crazy. What else happened to his wife?
To never ask a woman her age, a man his salary, and what happened to Dr. Seuss's wife. Ugh.
This is where the transitions get a little goofy, even for Dr. Seuss. Once Kathy and Jimmy and the ad folks start talking about the Seuss Navy, water just starts flooding the room and it starts fucking rocking back and forth.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's like it's tying into the next book he wrote, or the first book, and to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street. And like the pattern matches the waves, and so she gets washed to this bus stop where this little boy is sitting, and they read, and to think I saw it on Mulberry Street.
Now, when I saw that little boy, I was like, this kid looks familiar. I feel like I've seen him somewhere. So when the credits roll, I do this thing where I look up everyone on IMDb to see what else they were in if I don't recognize them, to see if they were in something I do recognize. JD Daniels comes up, and I decide to look him up. Oh, JD Daniels. What else was he in? He was in a very special episode of Full House where he is a victim of child abuse. That's right.
And no escape.
That's right. This is Charles, the abused kid from Full House.
The only episode Uncle Jesse is based in, by the way.
Charles update. Cops came and took him to a foster family. Stephanie, for some reason, freaks out that Charles is no longer getting pummeled. Jesse explains he's in a better place, far, far away from this show, and her tattling saved him, even though her tattle hesitation is what got his ass beat most recently.
He was also in The Mighty Ducks. He was a couple of voices in the Little Mermaid TV show. And he's one of the voice actors who played Arnold in Hey Arnold.
Oh my God,
wow.
That's right. Yeah.
Turns out he just lives on Mulberry Street now that Uncle Jesse killed his dad.
Yeah, good for him. I mean, the dad in this is an asshole, but not as much of an asshole.
Yeah.
He just tells his kid not to daydream, which is pretty shitty.
I mean, compared to Charles's dad, who's like beating the shit out of him, that's...
Yeah.
I think I will take that parent over getting beaten up, I guess, if I have to.
Also, one more quick note about the ad scene. There's a running gag where Kathy keeps getting facts right, so then he keeps calling her lady, and then they keep...
Yeah, one for the lady. Like, he's calling it out like it's a baseball score, and she gets offended that she's being called a lady.
Be glad he's not calling you female. Like,
oh, God.
That would be... yeah.
I mean, personally, it would have been funny if she just straight up castrated him, but,
Also, at the beginning of the ad scene, did anyone think that the ad man was tied up a little weirdly?
He's hanging from some kind of harness slightly off the ground, typing into a big-ass typewriter.
Oh, my favorite Dr. Seuss book, Has Been Hotel.
It looked like the fucking thing that George McFly was hanging in Back to the Future, too.
What happened to Grandpa?
Oh, he threw his back out again.
How's Granddad's little pumpkin?
How did you do that? How did he do that?
Oh, out on the golf course.
So then back to the Mulberry Street scene. So they include archive footage from a little stop motion short that was made for, I think I saw on Mulberry Street with JD Daniels dubbing over it. And god damn, I love the animation in that little short.
Yeah, so this was made by George Powell as part of the Puppetoon series.
Huh. Yo!
Yeah,
Nice.
he did the special stop motion effects for the Tom Thumb movie with Russ Tamblyn from The Wonderful World of Brothers Grimm, and this short was actually nominated for an Oscar. So, yeah it's really good.
That's so cool.
Early 20th century unsettling stop motion, my beloved.
Also, how long until Mulberry Street is turned into an analog horror?
I don't know with the puppet that Marco, the kid or whatever there is holding is from the same short, but if it's not, it's a very good recreation of it.
It does.
And to think I saw redacted by the U.S. government on Mulberry Street. Viewing of this book is prohibited. Close it immediately. Viewing of this book is prohibited. Close it immediately.
We have to neuralize you now.
And to think I saw someone on the grassy knoll.
Oh god. Oh, so we forgot to mention when they were showing all the cartoons that Seuss started off making, one of them literally mentioned suicide.
What?
When he's talking about it and talking about like Boyds and Beasties, which sounds like a furry website. And then
this is a time when people are much more cavalier about suicide and humor.
See, now all we need is the Cat in the Hat with his eyes widened out and glowing, surrounded by lightning.
In all fairness, that's how I saw him as a kid, so.
So Marco's just walking off while Kathy's in the middle of giving advice about, like, don't grow up to be sour or lose sight of your imagination. Like, she's speaking to my inner millennial. And of course, the kid just ignores it.
Hell yeah.
I'm just gonna say it. This bit with the whole wraparound of Kathy and JD Daniels narrating it was giving me Naughty Shop vibes, down to the fact that he's holding the exact puppet that was used in that short.
That's right. Oh my god. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, those puppets they used were made of wood instead of like having a plasticine or clay mold over a skeleton. So, yeah, there's a chance that it could have been the actual puppet that he had.
That's right. And in addition, it was also reminding me a lot of Mr. Rogers, so.
Oh, yeah, wearing that suit.
It's got the red sweater on. Yeah.
The best time to wear a red sweater is all the time.
And then we get Sir Patrick motherfucking Stewart in this as Sergeant Mulvaney from Mulberry Street.
Is the very Irish cop.
He comes in once again with a weird fucking nose prosthetic, and it makes him look like fucking Sam the doorman from today's special.
Oh my god, he does!
That's what I love about this whole thing. Whatever you're a nerd for, someone from it is going to be there. Kathy Najimy, fucking Christopher Lloyd, Patrick Stewart, Robin Williams. Are you a nerd? Whatever you're a nerd for, someone who started it is going to show up here.
Yes, and also the revolving door is a Star Trek transporter. Change my mind.
Yes, yes it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
as a writer, the rejection scene of Kathy being stuck in the revolving door like an elf, that hit me hard, getting all those no's over and over again.
Oh god, yeah.
So the gist of this scene is that Sergeant Mulvaney is talking about how Mulberry Street was one of the first children's books Dr. Seuss ever wrote, way before The Cat in the Hat. And he pulls out the manuscript for it, actually.
That's right.
The original manuscript, hands it to Kathy, tells her to go through the revolving door, which leads to this stop motion, which we all fucking hate, don't get me wrong. And she comes out with this sort of like Medusa hairstyle.
Because she's been in it so many times that it just makes her hair go crazy. And I gotta say, the effects for whatever they did with the door really works. Almost, I thought it was like maybe split screen or something, because on the left you got Patrick Stewart just moving regularly, just standing in place, fidgeting a little, waiting, while Kathy is spinning around in fast motion.
Yeah, see, she's been Mary Sanderson before, Hocus Pocus 2.
Also, I swear to God, the way that the scene looked when it was spinning looked exactly like the You Spin Me Right Round video.
Anyway, the Sanderson sisters are canon in the Dr. Seussiverse, I guess.
Huzzah.
So, yeah, Sergeant Mulvaney is, like, totally fine with the fact that he's basically holding his entire existence in his hand with the Mulberry Street manuscript.
That's right. Captain Picard has all those lives in his hands.
I was fully expecting Kathy Najimy when she comes out of the revolving door. She's totally sick. She falls down, vomits on the Mulberry Street manuscript, and then Sergeant Mulvaney just fades away, and the entire Seussiverse just collapses right before her eyes.
What have you done? I swear we'll find you!
Oh my god, epic Kathy. Now she's got a paintbrush / thinner brush, and she's got to partner up with fucking Gerald McBoing Boing, who's the ruler of the Seuss wasteland.
They did not mention Gerald McBoing Boing at any point in the special, nor did they mention any of the private snafu shorts in the World War II section, which would have been perfect. I was pissed that they didn't.
I swear, during the ad sequence or during one of the World War II sequence, they had like a cardboard stand-up of Private Snafu, and I was like, oh my god!
I didn't see it. And they didn't make any mention of Private Snafu during the World War II parts, which would have been perfect because he worked on them. He wrote for most of them. And when you're done with this episode, look up the cartoon, especially called Spies, which is done entirely in rhyme, and you can tell that he wrote it.
It
a cinch to keep a secret if a fella just takes care. He's sailing on a troop ship. Now we got to find out where.
The Private Snafu shorts are some of the best World War II propaganda shorts out there. They have aged terribly, obviously, but they are still pretty fucking good for cartoons that weren't allowed to be seen by the public at the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, speaking of his political cartoons, I remember that when I was in high school, they showed us a bunch of his ones he made for World War II, and I remember not just the what was the big bad wolf one? How did that one go again?
It's this grandmother with this dress that says America First reading a story to like these kids called Adolf the Wolf, which is a wolf that's, Hitler. And then she says, and the wolf chewed up the children and spit up their bones, but they were foreign children and it didn't really matter.
And they look exactly like the kids from The Cat in the Hat, too, which makes it even more unsettling.
And the funny thing is, this cartoon has aged like fucking wine because people are still like this.
God, and then I also remember they showed us the one where it was showing like America inside a bassinet and that was supposed to be a metaphor for isolationism and pacifism.
Yeah, they had a similar one they did show in the special, I guess because it didn't have too many problematic elements where it was kind of called forward to Horn Hatch the Egg, where you've got the bird and an elephant that looks like Horn, and then a monster version of
it's the
the elephant bird.
It's the baby of the GOP and the isolation ostrich. He's a noisy little so-and-so, but sweetheart, he's all ours. And it's this GOP stretch, I guess, supposed to be saying, don't get involved, don't get involved.
Yeah, don't get involved, don't get involed. The GOP hasn't changed much then, then as it is now.
And also, the Cat in the Hat knows a lot about Hitler.
Hitler is in this, and it's kind of weird, like, having Hitler be this, like, Disney villain frame type guy. He was real, and he killed 6 million real people.
So, yeah, Matt Frewer is the Cat in the Hat. We'll talk about Hitler in the most totally normal way, and then all of a sudden he'll just start talking about him in, like, a goofy voice.
Yeah, it's a little off-putting.
Unlike Dr. Seuss, they didn't want to scare the kids.
True.
Yeah, they don't want to scare the kids. That's why him and Kathy and Jimmy are in a hallway with sirens blaring and bleak fucking lighting.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I get it. It's World War II. It was a pretty bleak time in history, but, like, we're good now, so...
Then we meet the voice of America, played by Billy Crystal, and he's in that scary-ass radio.
You heard it here, folks. The official voice of the entire United States of America. If you're not an American, think of all of us as having this voice, is Billy Crystal.
Right now, everything is great. Everyone is happy. Everyone is in love. And that's wonderful. But you got to know that someday, believe it or not, you'll go 15 rounds over who's going to get this coffee table. This stupid wagon wheel Roy Rogers garage sale coffee table.
I thought you liked it.
I was being nice!
He's doing this 1940s transatlantic radio announcer voice.
And so then, I gotta be honest though, I kind of tuned out during the Hitler film, just because I think I've had enough Nazis to deal with in the real world at this point.
Okay, they got a lot of facts wrong about the short. Not the short itself was wrong, because there's some things that have unfortunately aged kind of well.
Yeah.
Right here in America, advocates of fascism live amongst us. They wear many guises as they continue with Hitler's aims and purposes, spreading the propaganda of race hatred and violence.
But, like, info about, how this was made, who made it. Like, Frank Capra was involved, but really he was the one who won the Oscar for it, and the version they used was basically a re-edited version of it. Different announcer.
Again, narrated by Frank Welker.
Frank Welker in a transatlantic accent for war propaganda. Watch out for those pesky krauts, folks.
Remember 30 years ago when it was uncontroversial to say Hitler was bad?
It's not just that. It's also say they're talking about how keep an eye out for Nazis. We can't accept their hands because they say we're sorry. They're among us still spreading Hitler's propaganda of race hatred and violence, even if they're dressed like ordinary people or look like senators or whatnot. So
yeah. Who knew most of them would not be Germans? Just kidding.
Yeah, so one weird thing I want to point out earlier is that the Cat in the Hat is talking about how, since Seuss was German, he would sometimes get blowback from kids in his school where they would just straight up call him Kaiser. And the way the Cat in the Hat just says Kaiser is just, he was waiting to drop that slur, man.
Oh, man.
I mean, I wouldn't consider it a slur, but
It's so funny how they're like, Dr. Seuss faced prejudice for being German during World War I and was called Kaiser and Crow. And then immediately they show a propaganda film saying, don't trust a single German on those streets of Berlin. They could be a Nazi.
Yeah, but from there we go into the best song of this special.
Yertle the fucking turtle. I love this song.
Yertle the turtle as a gospel choir, which should not work, but is amazing.
It does. And the weird thing is, this is the first time I've learned that Yertle the turtle is supposed to be an allegory for Hitler. Yertle is Hitler, and the stacking of the turtles is the taking over of Europe. And so they made a gospel Hitler.
If I could sit high, how much greater I'd be. What a king! I'd be ruler of all I could see. I'm Yertle, the turtle, oh marvelous me, for I am the ruler of all that I see.
It's so good. They play it again during the end credits.
So that's Andre Crouch as Yertle the Turtle, and he has some great credits to his name. He's worked with Stevie Wonder, El DeBarge, Philip Bailey, Shaka Khan, and in this he plays a fucking turtle dictator.
Also, they were saying that they want to stack turtles to the sky and say that they only need 5,700 of them, and I'm like, that wouldn't even get you to a 2-story house, but what do I know?
It just sounds good in rhyming forms. And he's destroyed by a single burp.
There we go.
Hey, fascism sounds great when you put it in gospel. No, it doesn't. That's a joke. It doesn't. I do not condone gospel fascism.
No, it's telling the story about how, terrible it was. And now when it gets to the end, they're singing it all free. It's great. I've been singing turtles, of course. All turtles free all friggin' week.
Am I not turtly enough for fascism?
Am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club?
I gotta be honest, with this specific segment in mind, I would be surprised if this special didn't play a part in Seuss's conception.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
I could definitely see that.
Down to having the Cat in the Hat look predominantly humanish.
Yeah, that makes
Absolutely,
sense.
yeah.
And to get ourselves away from Nazi talk, I have an interesting bomb that I want to drop. So while I was looking around for images to use for the title card, I came across something very interesting. I found an auction of props from this special.
Oh my god! Holy shit! Anyone got $800?
So this happened apparently sometime in 2018. I'm looking at the page for the Cat in the Hat's collapsible striped top hat, which I never considered this a top hat.
Yeah, it's much more of a stretchy hat.
There's fucking office clips in here. They're showing a picture of the inside of the hat, and there's like, those office like clamps where you take like a shitload of paper and it's like that little flat clamp and you put it on there. One of those is in there.
You're right.
And it went for somewhere between $800 and $1,200.
Oh,
that is insane.
This is why I love movie props, because it's like you don't even think twice about it. It looks really good. And then you look at the inside of it and it's like held together with like paper clips and string.
It's like,
love it.
Well, that's the magic of practical stuff. You gotta, be creative with what you use to make something work.
And that's why I love it. I mean, all the blood and guts you've seen in so many horror movies or disaster movies, like, oh, what was that? Like that scene in I can't remember what it is. There's like a guy's head that explodes.
Oh yeah, Scanners.
Scanners. They just used whatever red food they could find for it.
And then they shot it in the back of the head with a shotgun.
And it looks like a real head exploding.
Hell yeah.
I love the practical
Some
effects.
of the other stuff in this auction includes Robin Williams and Zelda Williams' outfits,
Yeah,
the Cat in the Hat's tuxedo, and
man.
amazingly, nobody bought this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's still sitting in a warehouse somewhere, probably.
I'll take it for free.
When I'm rich, I'll buy it. So, do we want to talk about the scene that made us all cry?
Oh, so before that,
God.
she meets up with the Cat in the Hat again, and he's talking about, the history of how his book came to be. And before he does that, he does an introduction where he talks about the 50s. And when he says welcome to the 50s, he makes this weird sound.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck that was.
Welcome to the 1950s.
Nobody wants to go back to the 50s, my guy.
Oh, no.
I mean, even Marty McFly was brought back there against his will, so yeah.
I mean, some people do want to go back to the 50s, but they don't really want to go to the 50s. They just want to go in a Norman Rockwell painting.
Yeah. So we learned the story of how the Cat in the Hat was made, specifically to give Dick, Jane, and Spot the boot, which it's like, the boring books like See Spot Run, Oh, Funny Dick, just this very insipid 1950s twaddle that made reading very boring.
Yeah, they throw shade at Dick, Jane, and Spot, which pretty ruthless, I gotta say.
Which one is in between the lions? It's not the Cat in the Hat.
Well, Seuss himself said toppling Dick and Jane, getting them removed from school libraries, was his proudest achievement, and that was because of the Cat in the Hat.
Yeah, because he made a bet with a friend that,
like, he could write a book with only less than 200 words or something, or less than 50 words, something like that.
Yeah. Also to teach kids how to read and read some basic words, I imagine.
According to Wikipedia, Ted Geisel created the book in the response to a debate about literacy in early childhood in the United States. He was asked to write a more entertaining primer by William Spalding, whom he had met during World War II, and was then the director of the education division at Houghton Mifflin. However, because Geisel was already under contract with Random House, the two publishers agreed to a deal. Houghton Mifflin published the educational edition, which was sold to schools, and Random House published the trade edition, which was sold in bookstores.
Oh, okay.
And then, of course, we get The Cat in the Hat, read by none other than Robin motherfucking Williams.
Yeah.
They knew. They had to have known that 20 years later, after he's dead, that we would see this and never get over it.
Oh.
Irreversible emotional damage.
I can't. This segment is too perfect.
Yes.
Too wholesome. It's Robin reading to his daughter and Christopher Columbus's daughter.
I was gonna say that.
They're in full Dr. Seuss garb. Robin Williams has sort of like this Beagle Puss kind of look going for him with the glasses and the mustache. And
the Groucho Marx out, glasses. But yeah.
Yeah, but the correct term that I found out is Beagle Puss, which I think is a more fitting word. I think people should start using that rather than Groucho glasses.
Hell yeah.
And he's doing all the funny voices.
I mean,
what?
He gives the fish sort of like this Paula Dean voice, which kind of threw me off for a second.
Do I like this? Oh, no, I do not. You should not be here when our mother is not.
But at one point, he also gives it a Peter Lorre voice. So I was like, oh, I guess there's that Peter Lorre fish from the Horton short.
They should not fly kites in a house. They should not. Oh.
There's a good chance this was being filmed while they were filming Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, because when I found out, Eleanor Columbus was Chris Columbus's daughter, that's when we think, oh, shit, it must have been filmed around the same time.
Yeah,
yes. Also, I have a weird-ass domino effect, I just realized. So Robin Williams and Zelda Williams were in this special. Can't Fight This Feeling was used in a Dr. Seuss adaptation. Zelda Williams ended up using Can't Fight This Feeling in Lisa Frankenstein. It's all connected, man.
Full goddamn circle.
Woo!
Oh my
Love to see
god.
Robin is just the perfect dad here, not just doing the voices and doing it so enthusiastically. But when the kids start running around and playing, he doesn't force them to sit down and listen. He gets up and joins them. He's chasing after them.
Oh my god.
Okay, I love Mike Myers as the cat, but why the hell didn't they consider Robin for the role?
It would have been fucking perfect.
Oh,
It wouldn't be the only terrible movie he's done. I love his terrible movies. I love World's Greatest Dad.
You love Jack?
We can make some exceptions here.
There we go.
In all fairness, Jack is fun to watch when you can riff on it with other people.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And, it's just, Robin is at his fucking A game here. He is just totally having a 4-course meal, just improvising off of this 61-page book.
And they give him a fish puppet.
The fish puppet is so cute.
I love him.
When he shakes, he makes the Mr. Krabs walking noise.
Yeah, they have the Mr. Krabs walking noise in this, 6 years before SpongeBob.
Look, look. And our fish shook with fear.
Oh, man, but it's just so cute. I love this segment. I miss Robin Williams. I can't believe it's been almost 10 years this year since we lost him. What the fuck?
I will never get over it.
Nothing has been right since he left us.
No, it's gotten worse since he left us.
Oh, it got a multitude worse when Carrie Fisher left too.
That's fucking lovely.
And then Bob Saget and Gilbert Gottfried. The 2020s just hates comedy.
And we recently lost Joe Flaherty, connecting it back to Andrea Martin. Rest in peace. I mean, we're going to do something with Joe Flaherty for a future topic soon, so.
You know how they call the 1920s the Roaring 20s? They're going to look back on this as the Screaming 20s.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, they are.
The pissing, shitting, and crying 20s.
The fetal position 20s.
Make it stop.
Anyway, I do love this segment. I distinctly remember my parents reading this book to me at bedtime, so seeing Robin read this it's right in my childhood.
Me too.
This special was worth it entirely for this segment.
Absolutely.
I like The Cat in the Hat, but if they had given him the ABC book, then I would have been an irreversible wreck.
Oh my God.
The ABC book was I'm so mad they didn't even acknowledge the ABC book in this, because that was my favorite Dr. Seuss book as a kid. That's what my mom would read to me. If I ever had a video of Robin Williams reading that, I would still be here right now.
Oh.
Oh, man.
So do we want to talk about the green eggs and ham segment?
Yes, but before that, I need to bring this up. Jen mentioned this earlier, but what the fuck was the segment where Matt Frewer absolutely butchers the egg song from Dr. Seuss on the Loose?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. He does the same exact egg song, but just a spoken version of it in a bunch of different voices. I don't know. And that's the thing. For all the segments they use from the different shorts, they never use any of the Alan Sherman Cat in the Hat songs, but they use this bit from it. I don't even...
Well, that's not entirely true, because there's some moments I've noticed where in the score you can kind of hear the Cat, Hat, and French Chat Chapeau song.
Oh.
And I think Kathy Najimy kind of sings it a little bit in one part, but I'm not sure.
Basically, this is like Green Eggs and Ham if Devo read it.
That's what I wrote. It's a Devo-style Green Eggs and Ham.
Here are my notes for the Sam I Am dancer scene. Nope, 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 nope.
Hey, Kit, I think you forgot nope.
They're chasing Kathy Najimy around, trying to make her eat it. I was reminded of the Green Eggs and Ham parody they did on Hysteria, where Loud Kate is chasing George Bush, trying to make him eat broccoli.
How about in your limousine, eating with the beauty queen?
No, not in my limousine, not even with a beauty queen. I would not, could not, no maybe, not even with big fat baby. No, not up on Air Force One, not even with a toasted bun. I would not like it with some corn, eaten from a flugelhorn. I do not like this broccoli. Now go away and let me be.
Also, it's like gelatin?
Yeah, they very clearly use Jell-O.
I really don't want gelatinized pork at all, ever, in my life.
I just figured they use that instead of coloring eggs.
I really hope that was at least lime flavored.
They didn't reference this in the Netflix Green Eggs and Ham. 0 stars.
Oh my god! Green eggs and ham is people!
You can cut this out if you want. Would you eat green eggs and ham jello pudding on
No!
No!
Oh god. So yeah, the green eggs and ham segment, I think what makes this so visually disturbing is that all of it is set in a black background with these guys all dressed up with Coke bottle glasses with eyes painted on them and fake mustaches. They're all on roller skates. And it's just, compared to the lively visuals that we've had, this is just so fucking bleak and nightmarish.
Starlight Express, Starlight Express,
Starlight Express.
Damn
Anyway.
Light Express.
The only joke I actually got out of this bit is when they're singing Would You Eat It in the Dark, and it's Kathy Najimy's disembodied head surrounded by plates of green eggs and ham, and I'm just thinking, is this the real life? Is this just fantasy?
Would you eat them on a train? Would you eat them on a plane? No.
A train, a train, a train.
A train, a train.
Bismillah, no. I will not try your rights.
So remember, kids, pester somebody over and over, they'll try something that they vehemently hate.
Yay!
Oh, that book was just like, as an autistic kid who had comfort foods and texture issues, I wanted to kill Sam I Am.
Oh god, did anybody else's school have them do like green eggs and ham day where they would give us like these terrible dyed ham and dyed scrambled eggs?
No,
Thankfully, no.
No?
Yes, my school would do that. Yeah, my school had Read Across America week.
Yeah.
Okay, what the fuck is going on in Pennsylvania and California? Because I didn't do that shit.
Yeah, just because what my school did was that they had Read Across America week, which, you know, we would have like Wacky Wednesday, we would have Pajama Wednesday, like all of that stuff. This was like when I was like in elementary school.
Okay, yeah, we definitely had like those.
Yeah, it was.
I definitely do remember them serving us green eggs and ham, which, yeah, I don't remember it being good.
If it happened, I probably repressed it. If not, I don't know what's going on with you guys' schools.
I got food poisoning from it, so yay.
That's probably why they didn't come to Massachusetts.
Yay. Anyway, and so then we cut to Eileen Brennan dressed as the Who villain.
Yeah, the Wikipedia states that she's a villain, but she doesn't do anything remotely villainous.
I think it's supposed to be a play on a citizen or something, or denizen.
Oh,
or
like a
something.
Whovillian?
Yeah, like that.
I didn't know that it was just a random Who Billy. Yet
At first, I just assumed she was just a random homeless lady.
I thought this was like Cindy Lou Who, but old.
It's like, I'll tell you about what happened when I fought the Grinch.
This is like Betty Davis and Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, but it's Cindy Lou Who.
He ain't stealing another Christmas, I can tell you that.
She's isolated and insane on top of the mountain, traumatized by the events. So she's really acted more like a Who from the live action movie, not the TV one.
Oh my god, it is Baby Jane Who. Someone make sure her sister's okay.
It's also the mean one.
Oh my god, that fucking piece of shit.
Get wheelchair bound Joan Crawford Who out of there.
Yeah. So Kathy's talking to her, like she's taking her through it like it's a therapy session, because when she realizes Kathy is there, it's like, someone to talk to. Oh my gosh, it's Cindy Lou and all this, and she's sobbing on her shoulder.
I'm just like, are you okay?
Do you need a hug, Eileen Brennan?
You need a psychiatrist.
So I did kind of tune out a little bit during this part just because I'd already know the Grinch.
The original Grinch is in my top tier holiday special, so I know it all. And I do love how they recreated the backgrounds.
I
Absolutely
love Chuck Jones. That's all I'm going to say.
Agreed.
Yeah, agreed.
I love Chuck Jones and I love Boris Karloff as the Grinch.
Hell
Me
yeah.
too.
They do keep his voice in this.
Oh,
Thank
yes.
fucking God, because you really cannot improve on the original Grinch.
Absolutely.
You really can't. In fact, I barely took any notes for this segment.
Me
It's
either.
just- This is the Grinch, hell yeah.
I know. I have a friend whose passion project, for as long as I've known him, is recreating the special as it originally aired on TV with like the bumpers, the commercials, the proper
Holy
color
shit.
grading.
Oh, I need
Yo,
that in my life.
nice. Is that Garrett Gilchrist?
No, actually, it's a different guy, but his name is Brian Slacky. I'm not sure how much of it he's made public or not, but
Right.
yeah, I'll definitely tell you guys you're really interested in it.
Oh, please do. Yeah.
TV broadcasts with commercials intact, my beloved, which is
Hell
a
yeah.
weird thing to say because as a kid, I was like, I hate commercials.
Me too.
Give me my damn program.
You don't know what you got till it's gone.
It's like anytime I load up one of my millions of fucking streaming shits I gotta pay for, I suddenly freeze because I'm like, wait a minute. The illusion of choice.
Yeah.
The choice gives me no choice because what do I want to watch? Why do I miss cable with commercials and kind of, oh, it's a surprise what's on?
I even missed the commercials that came on the VHS tapes. Like anytime I watched The Wizard of Oz, I was like, oh, it's missing the Downey commercial with the kids putting on the show.
I never thought I would miss the original Weather Channel and TV guide, and yet here I am falling asleep to old recordings of it.
Goddamn right. One more thing that I want to mention about Eileen Brennan is the crazy Who lady is that out of nowhere she just screams
Oh, you want to feel some pain?
and just fucking throws snowballs at Kathy.
Yeah, I think she needs to be institutionalized.
Institutionalized.
Also, the slide that she sends Kathy down was reminding me so much of the slide from the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, all I could think
Oh my
of
God,
was,
yes.
"You'll shoot your eye out, Kathy." Dahoo Doris.
I just thought of the sledding scene from Christmas Vacation.
I think why I love the set design in this so much is that a lot of it gives kind of like school production vibes.
Yeah, I can see that.
Exactly.
Like a sort of like a low budget theater production. in a
It's
lot of
low
ways.
budget, but high budget at the same time.
Yeah,
It's exactly what made the SpongeBob musical set so amazing.
Yes.
You could tell that this was all made in the 90s. You don't see them making this sort of thing anymore, not even for DVDs.
Yeah.
Closest we got was the Barbie movie.
I remember when I got Frozen on Blu-ray and they advertised this huge making of bonus feature that opened with the cast and a bunch of singers and dancers outside Disney Animation going, how did they make Frozen? What are the secrets to making Frozen? And then they stopped and said, I don't know, and walked away. That's it. And that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. Imagine being promised a trip to Willy Wonka's factory, and you get to the gates, and then you get rickrolled, and that's it. At least with Willy's Wonderland, you got to see the shitty fake factory.
Jen, that's just what happened in Glasgow, remember?
Imagine someone telling you they know the 11 herbs and spices for KFC, and you ask what they are, and they just say, I don't know, like a bunch of plants, I guess.
So we meet up with the Cat in the Hat again, and this is where the special takes some liberties. Mainly in discussing Seuss's personal life and his kind of downfall moment.
And some weird turns. Like now, after the Grinch segment, they talk about why they made the Grinch, not during it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the irony is, he was sick of commercials and starting the holidays, and that's why he wrote the book. The irony is that it's arguably the most commercial of Seuss's stories now, with all the different Grinch-themed toys and decorations and 2 movies and a goddamn sequel book not even written by him.
It's what I call
Yeah.
Shrek syndrome, where Shrek was literally making fun of the over-marketed sugary sweetness of Disney. And then we get like green ketchup, Shrek cereal, all these different Shrek toys, Shrek merchandise, 3 more movies, a 3D ride.
You can only criticize the machine so long if you're one of the cogs in it, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I do love Shrek though, and the more Shrek bullshit out there, the better.
So another thing I want to point out is that the Cat in the Hat talks about how Dr. Seuss's first wife, his friend, wife, and advisor for 40 years, suddenly passed away.
Elaborate on that.
Yeah, elaborate on that.
Do I have to?
How did she pass away? How did Dr. Seuss react to that?
So are we going to address the Horton in the room?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she was suffering from various illnesses, like the cat said. At the time, she had cancer. And, oh man, it's hard to say. But in the end, she decided to unalive herself. And,
Yeah.
and her note revealed that she may or may not have known that Dr. Seuss was having an affair. Ain't is like she knew it, and she just knew their marriage was falling apart, and she thought it was the best thing to do for him and his career to just exit stage left. And I feel terrible for it too, learning that. Because I only had the special to go by for years. I had no idea about the truth.
Everyone who made your childhood is a monster.
Yeah, not everyone.
Well, yeah, not everyone, but you know.
And she did write some good kids' books too. One of my favorites, which is kind of like under the Seuss banner, was written by her, called Fish Out of Water, and that's a very fun story.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, I mostly just like to think of the author and then just remember that the person has thankfully been long gone. So kind of similar to Roald Dahl.
You know what? He's dead. He can't collect royalties anymore. Go nuts.
Yay.
Pretty much. And the weird thing, too, is that the Cat in the Hat mentions that Audrey Geisel was his friend, never mentions that she is his widow.
Yeah.
I don't blame the cast or the crew for, not knowing any of this stuff, but, you don't have to sugarcoat this, guys.
Apparently, Audrey did have a hand in the special, so who knows how much of it said or wrote.
Yeah. Anyway, I actually had to kind of skip a bit through the Lorax scene just because I was kind of like, I don't really feel like being depressed for very long.
Same here.
Brace yourself, Kathy. We're in Tumblr fangirl territory.
How bad can I be?
Oh no, this Wensler here is not a Tumblr sexy man. He's the opposite.
Fucking cursed.
I was reminded of the Flotsam and Jetsam puppets from Voyage of the Little Mermaid, because even though I like the show, those puppets scared the hell out of me because it's pitch dark, they come out of the hole, and they say, there must be something we could do, and their eyes are glowing. It's just, so wrong.
My God.
No.
God, the arms are not connected to a body. It's just so fucking cursed.
There's these big moldy green arms sticking out, waving all over the place through these slats while these big yellow eyes are staring out through the dark.
Yeah, it's
You know what's funny? I went to an Audubon camp and we did this as a play.
Ooh.
I think I was one of the fish, and they literally just put a fucking blanket over us. That was the gunk, I guess, and we just like flailed around in it.
Holy shit, okay.
Man.
I think I was a fish.
So yeah, they go through the story of the Lorax and show the animated special, and then they show Kathy planting the truffula tree, which is a nice scene, though.
It is a nice scene. I do like the wraparound of that she is the one that can make the change, and she's the one that the Wensler's telling the story to. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Now, Kathy, this tree is one of the most sought-after resources in the world. You need to be prepared to kill for this tree. You need to be prepared to commit terrorism for this tree. Is that the risk you're willing to take, Kathy?
I just wanted the Wensler to start saying, make sure to redacted billionaires as well.
Starting with me.
Yay!
Kathy, you might die protecting this tree.
And then we transition into the Butter Battle book. And I love that the Cat in the Hat is just totally nonchalant about the fact that there is another Cold War going on, basically.
Yeah. After tackling fascism, racism, commercialism, and environmentalism, what lighthearted subject does Seuss take on next? The fucking Cold War.
Nuclear Armageddon.
And the special does not mention the Cold War at all, which is totally weird.
And it's animated by Ralph Bakshi, of all people.
Yeah,
that's
Ralph fucking
right.
Bakshi.
Oh my God, another animator I fucking love.
And Charles Durning.
He's always going to be Doc Hopper to me.
Yes.
And also, I forgot how friggin' dark the ending of that book was. It's like,
God, yes.
Yeah. When I first saw the special, I think there was like a random showing on TV when I was like maybe 5. The context flew over my head. It's like, oh, these silly bird people making bigger and sillier cartoon weapons. And then it got to the end, and even though I saw how it ended, with them holding their berry bombs, waiting to drop them, years back later, I thought, oh, I must have missed how it really ended. But no, they literally stop it right there. Who's going to drop the bomb first?
And what's fucked up is that when this originally aired on TNT in 1989, they apparently aired this with a title card that said "To be continued." That is fucking evil.
Yeah.
And this was in the 80s when relations between the US and the Soviet Union were not very good.
Someone mash this up with the Oppenheimer trailer. Or don't. My nuclear anxiety is bad enough as it is.
This was basically the butter missile crisis. We're going to have one butter side down guy who refuses to turn the key.
Exactly.
By the way, all you people whining about the less popular Seuss books going out of print saying Seuss has gone woke, Dr. Seuss has always been woke.
Yeah, look, for his issues as a person, he did want kids to learn about a lot of various topics, so slightly based.
It's grooming for kids to learn that gay people exist. Dr. Seuss made sure that your children knew nuclear Armageddon exists.
Yes.
He knew that the world is going to get fucked up by capitalism.
You should be glad we're just trying to teach your kids that some people have two mommies and some people have two daddies.
Exactly.
You want us to teach them about nuclear weapons? Because we will.
One more thing. The guy in the butter battle who's developing all the weapons and gave them to the Charles Durning Guard, did anyone else think he looked like Henry Kissinger?
Yo!
Oh my God!
I didn't even think of that.
It makes perfect fucking sense.
Burn in hell, motherfucker.
Fucking finally.
Yes.
Yeah. So after Dr. Seuss's Dr. Strangelove, we get, the Cat in the Hat talking about Seuss in his later years. And this is the, immature part of me. Did anyone notice they're walking in the room, all the signs pointing in different directions with different things? One of them spelled out lubes.
Lubes?
Spelled like boobs, but pronounced lubes.
Good night, everybody.
It's for boats. It's for boats, we swear.
Yeah, this is where it gets weird because all of a sudden, I guess this was sort of teased earlier because the Cat in the Hat gets jealous that she was hanging around Sergeant Mulvaney, but, they kind of have this, unsung sexual tension towards the end of the special.
Yeah.
They get really flirtatious with each other during the the Places You'll Go song.
Yeah, they'll do. So the Cat says in his later years, Seuss turned down selling out his characters for money, which is really a far cry from how the Seuss treat the characters these days. Let's get Jim Carrey to sing Speedwagon. Let's have the Lorax shield for gas-guzzling SUVs. Let's hit the Cat in the Hat in the nuts with a baseball bat.
Not just hit him in the nuts with a baseball bat, have him sing Easy Like Sunday Morning.
Remember, kids, Dr. Seuss's works will always live on, but at what cost?
Hooray. And I will say the Places You'll Go song did get me a little emotional.
Oh, yeah, I did love that song. It was good.
Then again, I'm someone who does genuinely get emotional anytime it's used for graduation. I'm a sap like that.
Same here. My parents got the book for my sister when she graduated preschool, and even though we kept it at my grandfather's house and I didn't quite understand it because I was maybe 4 years old, it's later on really got me to understand and appreciate it because simple as it is, it captures so much of being alive, the human experience.
Yeah.
And it's all encapsulated in this wonderful, big, upbeat Broadway finale.
Absolutely. Yeah. Also, did anybody catch that when they were closing out, the cat said PO'd?
Yeah, he did.
I guess it wasn't out of character when he was about to say shit in the movie.
Yeah, there you go.
It's just more subtle about it.
Huzzah.
Yeah, so one of the last things we get is an anecdote about how, Dr. Seuss's dad gifted him a dinosaur fossil, and I forget the reason why. I think what it was that, he foresaw his son going on to bigger things, but I call bullshit on the dinosaur fossil story. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but
I've got to look it up and see, but I do love the reasoning behind it. We may go extinct, but we'll always have a chance to leave behind a footprint.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Very true.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm looking it up now. Yep, it's real.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, It's apparently now in his rock garden in California.
If you excuse me, I will now put my foot in my mouth.
I will say it was a very nice ending as they zoom in on the painting and make sure to always keep your imagination alive, but the painting of the cat was a little...
I want to get that weird abstract Cat in the Hat tattooed on me.
He looked like he looked into the ark there.
Yeah, that fucking Cat in the Hat looked fucking totally malnourished. And I'm just gonna say it. Any ending where it zooms into something and it suddenly winks at you, it's always going to disturb the shit out of me.
Nope, I don't like
it. It did when it was Winnie the Pooh. It did when it was this. It just always gives me chills, and not the good.
Do you also remember the weird Chuck E. Cheese emblem at the top of the stage that would just wink randomly sometimes?
Oh god.
Oh yeah, that too.
And any Barney tape that ends with the fucking doll winking. No.
Oh god.
Well, we do end on a bittersweet note. Kathy reads a bit of this, what sounds like Seuss's self-written obituary, talking about how did it get late so soon? And then there's that last line that I love from All the Things You Could Think.
From there to here, from here to there, funny things are everywhere.
Oh yeah, it's excuse me.
It just sums it all up and really nicely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Keep the tapes.
Keep the shit
Yeah,
out of
keep the
this. I love documentaries, and I love it when they get creative with them.
Hell yeah, more documentaries.
Even if it's sugar-coated, it's for kids, I can forgive it.
It's done with love, and that's what makes it worth it.
I am so glad that I can finally give a Keep the Tapes to a piece of media on this podcast that is genuinely great. Not one that I enjoyed ironically or because of nostalgia. Keep it, preserve it, share it, upload it to Internet Archive. I love it so much.
Amen.
You know, we may clown on this all day and night, but for what it's worth, this is a very solid documentary that is a lot of fun, a lot of great names attached to it, a lot of creativity attached to it as well, and just it does get stuff wrong, and it is problematic in some senses, but it is still very well created, and you know, I do commend it for that, and it does have a lot of heart.
From where it falters, it makes up for tenfold in so many places.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And in the words of a Peggy Hill quote, don't forget to record the In Search of Dr. Seuss game.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
So Jen, thank you once again for joining us. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Well, thanks for having me, guys. Though I'm
yeah.
trying to stay off of social media, mostly for the sake of my sanity. You can still find me on various websites at Jen Seggio. I'm also on YouTube under the name The IntNFIT, where I make random silly videos for fun. And I have a blog up on the shelf on WordPress.com where I just finished reviewing and ranking the entirety of Shelley Duvall's Fairy Tale Theater.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, she did it.
Yeah, and I'll be going back to doing movie reviews very soon. And I also have a Patreon for the blog under the same name up on the shelf if you want to sneak peeks of what's coming up next. So head on over there, join the Patreon party. Let's have some fun.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So guess what, guys? I left Twitter. I'm free.
What?
Yeah.
I did it. I finally got bored of it. I'm so proud of myself.
Unfortunately for me, I am too stubborn to leave of my own accord. They are going to have to kick me out.
I'll try mass reporting all of your tweets and see if it does something.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, you can mass report mine while you're at it. You know, just got
Yay.
whatever gets me out of that shithole.
So in the meantime, you can still find me on Mission Breakout on Discord, Muppet Vision 3D on Letterboxd. I'll eventually join Blue Sky once the site becomes a little easier to navigate, and then we'll see if the future of social media is worth it.
You know what? Bring back forums.
Yes, please.
Bring back forums and bring back weird ancient chat rooms.
And not just Reddit,
Oh God,
please.
yes, please. Well, no, just yes, please to the forums, not to the weird chat.
Yeah.
Depends. I'm still on Twitter, unfortunately, as Neon Tales with 2 Z's. I'm on YouTube as Cosmic Rewind. Still, for some reason, I gotta change that. And that's pretty much it. You can also find me raiding the Dr. Seuss mansion and stealing all that unorthodox taxidermy because I really do not have $1,000 to spend on statues.
Oh God.
But I have plenty of time to steal some shit.
Yay.
As for me, you can find me on the usual spots, Tyler FG on Twitter, Tyler FG96 on Instagram, Tyler FG on Blue Sky. As for the show, you can find us on Twitter at channel_KRT, Channel KRT Podcast, all one word, on Instagram, and Channel KRT on Blue Sky. We also have our Discord server and our Facebook group, which you can find in the link tree in our Twitter bio. And if you want to help support us, you can also check us out on Patreon and Ko-Fi. On Patreon, we have exclusive minisodes, outtakes, and episodes of this very podcast at its earliest convenience. And on Ko-Fi, we just have exclusive minisodes and outtakes for $5 a pop. And of course, thank you to our pals Paul Spicknall, Tony Goldmark, Ashley Hines, and Chris Reyna for pledging to us the $10 level. And a huge thank you to our executive producer, Gomer.
Channel KRT, get a goddamn Grinch burger.
Delicious Grinch meat.
Welcome, the Grinch Burger, Homa, the Grinch Burger. Can it take your order?
You turn me on, brump. You turn me on, brump. You're not too tall, you're not too short, you're not too round, brump. You're like a cat, the Cat in the Hat.